Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So, today I am going to talk about fire alarm systems. And first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Shamil. I am working as a fire alarm engineer in Qatar. And I will be explaining in today's video about the purpose of fire alarm system. Why do we require a fire alarm system in our buildings? Okay. So without further ado, let us begin. So what is the number one job of a fire alarm system? So let's explore the big picture of the system. So first thing you need to know is that the fire alarm system's job is not to fight the fire. It is also not to save the building. The main job of a fire alarm system is to ensure that there is life safety among the occupants of the building. Okay, that is the number one job of a fire alarm system. So it's like normally in your bedrooms we see a smoke detector, right? Now, if you're expanding that smoke detection system to the entire building, okay, that is the fire alarm system for the building, and we are going to deal with the such systems. Okay. Now, what are the four primary objectives of the fire alarm system? So there are four objectives. So the first objective is to ensure life safety. The second objective is to ensure the property gets protected. Third one is to ensure there's a risk management. Okay, and the last one is to ensure that the environment is protected. So let's go through each objective in detail. So the first one is the life safety. So life safety is about ensuring that the occupants, which are the people present inside the building, are safe, okay, and they are evacuated. Okay, so how can we ensure that there is a life safety in place with fire alarm system? So normally how a fire alarm system works, it's like in case if there is a fire, okay, regardless of the size of the fire, it could be small or it could be big, the fire alarm system detects or senses the fire and sends out a notification or an evacuation message or evacuation alert to the occupants present inside the building through the notification appliances. Okay. Now, what is notification appliances? So if you go inside a building, you would see several devices. It could be horns, it could be sounders, it could be strobes, okay, it could be flashers, it could be speakers, okay, or it could be a combination, both sounder and flasher or speaker or flasher. So these devices are commonly called as notification appliance devices. Okay. So why do we need to ensure that there is a life safety? So we need to ensure that the fire alarm system gives maximum amount of time for people to evacuate safely. Okay. So the earlier you detect, the more time you get to escape from the building, from the hazardous area. So the key takeaway of this is that life safety is the most critical function for the fire alarm system. Okay. Now let's go to the next objective, which is the property protection. So by property protection, it's about protecting the building and the assets. So it's not only about protecting the structure from the fire, it's also to ensure that the equipment and the assets which are located inside the building are also being protected from the hazard. Okay, so this can be achieved if you detect the fire early. Okay, if you detect the fire early and notify the occupants along with the fire department as well. Okay, the fire department are the authority which are present in your jurisdiction. It could be the firefighting team, or if you are working in a site, it could be the concerned fire safety team. Okay, there will be a dedicated fire department team available in your site location. Okay, so the logic behind this is that if you detect a fire at the earlier stage, or if there's small fire and the response time of a fire alarm system is very short, very fast, then that means you can save a lot of money in repairing or replacing the defective items. Okay, you can save that much money. That is the intention behind property protection. The next one is risk management. So many a times we have seen in the daily news that if there's a fire in the building will not be will not be usable. Like we cannot run our organization, or we cannot run our business in that particular building, and we have to relocate to a different location. So to avoid that, to ensure that there is a continuity of business, to ensure that there's a continuity in the business, the fire alarm system serves that function of risk management. Okay, so to avoid that business closure, okay, the fire alarm system can be very helpful. Okay, so the early detection protects jobs, and it also helps the local economy. Okay, now let's go for the fourth objective, which is about environmental protection. Now, you might be knowing that fire, to create a fire, you need three elements, okay, which is oxygen, heat, and fuel. And whenever a fire occurs, it releases toxic gases, fumes, smoke particles, etc. Okay, and the contribution, if you release these so-called items to the environment, it will create a pollution in the environment which is harmful for everyone present over there, for all the living beings. So to avoid that, it is necessary that you need to install a fire alarm system in the building, so that when you detect such fires at the incipient, at the earlier stages, you can avoid such catastrophe with regards to the environment. Okay, so as I said, we have four objectives for a fire alarm system. So the first one is life safety, the second one is property protection, the third one is the protection of business, to ensure that there's a business continuity, and the last objective is environmental protection. Okay, so a fire alarm system can achieve these many objectives with regards to the building. Now let's go through some of the key terms that we have gone through this discussion. So the first one is life safety. So what do you mean by life safety? So life safety, as I said before, it is that aspect of building safety which is concerned about protecting the lives of the equipment. Okay, as I said, fire alarm system is the objective. The number one job of fire alarm system is to ensure that there is life safety, that the occupants of the building are protected from the harmful impact of fire, and they are evacuated in a safe manner. Number two, the second term is occupant. Occupant refers to any person who is present inside the building. That is called as occupant. The third term is evacuation. So evacuation is actually the process of moving people from inside a dangerous space to a safe area. That is called as evacuation. And the last one is the notification appliance. So notification appliance refers to any device which could be horn, strobe, speakers, flashers, sounders, or it could be a combination device as well, which is of sounder or flasher. Okay, such devices will actually make people alert about the fire. So this is called as notification appliance. So in order to summarize, fire alarm system detects a fire early, it alerts the people inside, it summons help, it asks for help from the fire department, and lastly, It minimizes the loss of life, property, and business, and ensures that there is a continuity to the business. Okay, and more importantly, it protects the environment itself. So, with that, I conclude my topic, the first topic for today. Thank you all for listening. And in case if you have any queries or clarification, or if you have any feedback, kindly share them in the comment section. And kindly note that the next topic in this series will be the fire triangle. So I'll be discussing about the fire triangle in the coming video. And before signing off, I would request all to kindly like, share, and subscribe to learn more. Thank you once again. Adios.